Let's preview tonight's Spurs Thunder game, then bring in our very special guest, Brandon James, the Spurs VP of Strategic Growth.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the Cybertron Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. Hope everybody's having a great day and get through the work week right here. Well, we'll get you through it, okay? So don't worry, we got your back. We'll get you through it and get you ready for all things silver and black right here on Locked On Spurs. As always, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, including the Ken's 5 Plus app, iTunes, Spotify. The list goes on and on. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Grammarly. Make a bigger impact at work with Grammarly. Sign up and download for free, Grammarly.com/podcast. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at tonight's game, Spurs Thunder. Quick preview, get you ready for the Spurs return back to the Frost Center. Then bring in our very special guest, Mr. Brandon James. He's the VP of Strategic Growth for your Silver and Black. He's also the Deputy Counsel for the team. We're going to be getting you ready for the upcoming Spurs Week out in Austin. Spurs Week begins March 10th. Brandon's going to talk to us about what lessons learned, what they took away from last year's, the first ever Spurs Week out in Austin. And then we're going to be discussing the regional footprint the Spurs are having here in Texas and beyond, even in Mexico. And then, well, just get you ready for the Austin games that are soon to be getting going out in the state's capital. All right, but first, we got to look at tonight's game, Spurs Thunder. Your Spurs come into tonight's game 11-48. The Thunder are 41-17. Yeah, Spurs got themselves a handful tonight. This will be the first game of a 2-game homestand for the Spurs, and they're coming off the road trip and didn't end well. Spurs picked up the loss versus Minnesota, 114-105. Wemby had 17 points and 13 rebounds. Malachi had 12 points, and Trey Jones had 11 points and 6 assists. And hopefully the Spurs can erase their 5-game losing skid tonight and get things on the winning track and begins out at the Frost Center. Jersey watch, Spurs will be in their association edition jersey, basically the white jerseys. As always, we like to look at the opposition first before we get into the Spurs. So here's your quick game preview. Thunder are hot. They're hot. They're riding a 6-game winning streak overall, and the last 2 games on the road they won them both. So they're motoring right now. The Thunder are on a rhythm right now. Spurs, catching them, I guess, at the wrong time for them. Hopefully the Spurs can upend OKC's winning streak tonight at the Frost Center. So Spurs got to play a complete game versus one of the best in the West, OKC. Now, as always, the Spurs got to keep an eye on that 3 line. The Thunder have recorded 6 straight games with a higher 3-point percentage versus their opposition. So they're knocking down shots. They're being efficient from the 3 line. They're making them count. We've seen on the last few games, sometimes the Spurs, that's kind of like the difference between the win and the loss there is the opposition connecting on threes. So Spurs got to watch that 3 line for OKC. They're coming in hot. Also, keep an eye on the scoreboard, as always, because it's going to be key, especially tonight. On the road, the Thunder are 13-1 when they're leading after the 3rd period. So they're hanging on to that lead at the end of 3. They're likely not going to let it go come the final frame. So keep an eye on that scoreboard. Hopefully the Spurs are up at the end of 3. Now, shift to the Spurs now. So Spurs have lost 5 in a row. So there's that. But they have lost their previous 4 straight games out at the Frost, so hopefully home can be kind to the Spurs tonight, which is the Thunder. So yeah, Spurs are riding a 4-game home losing skid. Recent history, I guess the Thunder hasn't been kind to the Spurs as well. The last 5 meetings between OKC and your Silver and Black have gone OKC's way. Yeah, Thunder have won 5 straight against the Silver and Black. So hopefully the Spurs can snap that losing streak and their overall losing streak tonight at the Frost Center. All right, there's your quick preview of tonight's game. Coming up next, the VP of Spurs Strategic Growth, Mr. Brandon James. He's going to be joining us. We're going to be discussing all things Spurs Week. Begins March 10th, from what to expect, what kind of free swag you can get, the games, as just so much is going to be happening in Austin, and why you should make the trip to the state's capital starting on March 10th. So that's coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. But first, I want to talk to you about eBay Motors. Our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week all season long. Whether you're into prepping for a daily draft or scouting the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide you with players that are guaranteed to fit your roster. Let's see who Josh picked for this week's eBay's Guaranteed Fit Fantasy Picks of the Week. This week, he picks Nets' very own Dennis Schroeder, with Ben Simmons coming off the bench and the Nets having an all-important 5 games next week. Schroeder has short-term appeal. There you have it. Josh saying, go get yourself Dennis Schroeder right now. Josh Lloyd from Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you win your fantasy championship, and eBay Motors knows a championship team is about each player being the perfect fit. Same thing for your vehicle. So look, you have that car that you love, you own it, you want to get a sweet upgrade for it, eBay Motors. You got yourself your dream ride, you want to keep it in tip-top shape, eBay Motors. Look, you need to buy parts, you want to go to eBay Motors. They make it easy for you, seriously. Hey, you just need your car to be just keeping going and running and just needs a little tune-up here and there, eBay Motors. Get that cool upgrade only at eBay Motors. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake lights, they got them. LED headlights, check. Roof racks, check. Bumpers, check. They got it all. Whatever your baby needs, eBay Motor has it. eBay Motor even has the eBay Guaranteed Fit. It's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, yeah, you're going to be burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive. Visit ebaymotors.com. ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. And as promised, we're now joined by Brandon James, the Spurs' very own VP of Strategic Growth / Deputy Counsel. By the way, James, before we begin, I apologize for the nerd vomit you're seeing behind me right now. I apologize for that.
What's going on back there? Did you draw that?
There's a lot of nerdiness going on back here. Let me tell you that much. There's Iron Man. There's some anime going on here. It's a lot of stuff here. Let's just put it this way: whenever there's like a con, like a big Comic Con in San Antonio, usually I get tapped to host the events. So, frankly, Brandon, I'm just going with the brand. That's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing.
It looks good. It looks good. You should just start taking credit for it, because I wouldn't know any better if you said you drew them.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do that again, Brandon. Yes, I did draw them. I drew every single one you see here. Absolutely not. I wish I had that kind of talent there. But for those of y'all who do not know, Spurs Week out in Austin is coming up very soon. Begins March 10th through the 17th. We're going to get into some of the specifics, what to expect, what pair of games you can go out. And yes, everybody, it's more than just Spurs games, although that is a highlight at the Moody Center. There's a lot going on. Brandon's going to tell us exactly what's going on, how you can participate, what you can expect, and so much more. Now, for those of you who remember, Brandon came on last year ahead of the Austin games. At that time, it was audio only. Now Brandon, we made some waves since you've been. We're now video now. Brace yourself, huh?
Upgrades. You got the blazer on. Everything.
They got everything. All right. Well, Brandon, a lot of excitement's in the air, especially in Austin right now. Games are going to be held out there in the Moody Center, but this is not the first time the franchise has done this. Y'all did this last year. This year, hopefully the weather cooperates, and I think it will. No rainouts. But when you look back at last year, what were some of the biggest lessons learned? What did y'all take away? And what was the Austin feedback?
Yeah, great question. I think the biggest takeaway is that there is a real appetite in Austin for NBA basketball, and we are happy to be that team for this market. And so it's something that we've talked about for decades, And the fact that we're putting intentionality behind it and really seeing people come out in droves and support our games, support our players, support our events in and around the community, and even be a part of our community activations is just a real testament to sort of our brand being able to transcend San Antonio and go, as you said, as north as Austin and south to Mexico and everything in between. It's clear that we are becoming Austin's NBA team.
Absolutely. My interaction with Spurs fans that went to last year's game that were fans from San Antonio that made the trek to Austin. For the most part, all of them said, wow, that was kind of the reaction, like, whoa, that was an experience. That was fun. And their ability to not only just take in the games, which we'll get into later, but seeing some of the community events that the SSNE put on. And again, we'll get into that later. What do you think is the biggest lesson learned aside from, bargaining with Mother Nature to stop raining for the day? What do you think is the biggest takeaway that you can now apply to this week or this upcoming week's in March 10th games out in Austin?
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways is that we can do things that are appealing to everyone, right? And so we have the games, obviously, and a lot of people go to those. We sold out both last year. But even impacting the community outside of the games, we're dedicating our third renovated court in Austin on Sunday, March 10th. We're giving away free coffee via Joe's Coffee around Austin for the entire week. Just really meeting fans where they are. So our biggest takeaway is that wherever our brand shows up, our fans are there to support us, and that's a really good feeling for our team to sort of not necessarily making an entry into Austin, but really getting intentional. And it's really nice to see that our fans are showing up.
Yeah, and if numbers don't lie, well, then here is a number. And quickly shout out to Alexis, who sent me this little tidbit here. 59% of fans who went to last season's Austin games have kids. So that started the whole multi-generational fandom that could be or is starting out in Austin. How big is that for the Spurs to actually solidify itself more so than what it is right now as Austin's NBA team?
No, it's huge. Well, first of all, as you know, our team, we have the youngest team in the NBA. And it's also, we're also being intentional about growing that next generation of fans. As you know, last year we celebrated our 50th anniversary. So our organization is strategically trying to figure out what the next 50 years looks like. And the best way for us to get there is to make sure we're tapping into the youth. And in order to do that, we have to do things that are conducive to what appeals to them. And we have all kinds of events that are appealing to the youth, obviously the games, but some other sort of 3-on-3 court experiences, some court takeovers and renovations. So we're really being intentional about making sure that we're doing things that appeal to the next generation of fans.
Exactly. Everybody, you want to go to spurs.com/Spurs week right now to check out everything that is available starting March 10th. And we'll get into a lot more. Trust me, when I say a lot more, everybody, I mean a lot more. You will not be disappointed, especially if you're coming from San Antonio, thinking to drive out there, or you're in Austin, or all the surrounding areas around Austin, Texas. But that brings me to my next question. And when you, your staff, the team sent out the press release about the upcoming events, one thing you mentioned about is the regional footprint between San Antonio, Austin, Mexico, and all places in between. I mean, you're seeing it this season, even with the G League team playing games in Corpus, Laredo. That has been a big push in recent years for the Spurs.
Yeah.
As of today, how is that going? How is the expansion of the Spurs footprint, not just in Austin, but just in that whole region, coming along?
I would say, look, we're uniquely positioned. Our leadership likes to say, culturally, geographically, and economically. And so we're in a really unique position as an NBA team to really capitalize on our location and proximity to some really major metropolitan areas and to some really loyal and fervent fan bases. And so the more we can do to sort of speak to them, the more we can have them included as part of our Spurs family. And I'd say it's going well. Our games in Mexico last year were amazing. We obviously sold out the Alamo Dome. We sold out the Moody Center games. And so it's clear everywhere we go to meet our fans where they are, they're really appreciating that. And so the more we can do to make sure that no matter where you live, no matter what zip code you're in, if you identify as a Spurs fan or even a basketball fan, we welcome you into our family.
I think this will bring a smile to your face right now. So, first of all, I am so happy that Corpus Christi got themselves a G League game with the Austin Spurs making the trek up there. I think Corpus definitely deserved that. I have a lot of friends in Corpus, a lot of people I know in Corpus that were, say, hey, what about us? What about us? We bleed black and silver too. What about us? And boom, done and done. G League Austin Spurs game heading there soon, but
Huge.
even better. So I don't know if you know this, but there is a Hollywood actor born and raised in Corpus Christi. He's been on shows such as Modern Family, Two Broke Girls. His name is Nathan Ray Clark. He is from Corpus. He's been on Locked On Spurs before. And when he found out that there was going to be an Austin Spurs game in Corpus, he was just elated. So much, in fact, he asked me that the next time I go to a Spurs game out of the Frost to get him a custom Spurs jersey and mail it to him.
Really?
And he's rocking it now in Los Angeles. And he's worn it in enemy territory out with the Clippers and Lakers game. So when you hear stuff like that, what does that make you think about just how big Spurs fandom is, not just in the region, but nationwide?
Yeah, not even just nationwide, right? We're a global brand, and it goes back to our years in the early pop years and sort of being relevant internationally by selecting players like Manu Ginobili and even Tim Duncan. And we've had our lineage of Tony Parker. And so we've had this sort of long lineage of international athletes and really been able to speak globally with our brand and tap into different parts of the world. And again, making sure that those different parts of the world feel like they're a part of the Spurs family no matter where they reside. And so we love hearing that. We have fans everywhere, and we want to make sure that they're recognized and they're appreciated, because without them, we wouldn't be who we are.
Absolutely. Yeah. You see Victor, and it was like the reconnection with the French fans from Tony and, Boris and Nando De Colo. I mean, the list goes on. Yeah. And you're seeing that brand get bigger, but with the intention of just making the region area, here in Texas stronger. It looks like it's going that way. For what you can tell us, what you're allowed to and everything, when y'all went out to Corpus, got themselves a G League game, obviously Laredo's got multiple games. Do y'all foresee any other those type of Austin Spurs games, maybe in surrounding counties, such as I'm just top of my head, Bernie or El Paso, stuff like that? How does that work?
Yeah, no. So, first of all, we're open to it, right? We're going to go where our fans are. And so the first requirement, right, is do they have an NBA or G League specific arena? And so that's sort of the baseline, is do they have a venue that's suitable to accommodate our needs? And then from there, it's really a negotiation with obviously the venue, the NBA has some say-so in it. We play in Bexar County for the Spurs. Our G League team plays in Cedar Park. And so there's some negotiation to do about moving home games in and around the state of Texas. And then we have to be conscious of the different exclusivities that the Dallas Mavericks may have or the Houston Rockets may have. So it's the balance of a lot of different things, but I would say everything is on the table. And as we continue to grow our market, we're open to all ideas.
Hey, I want to talk about Grammarly. No matter what kind of work you do, how you communicate is key. All those emails, those reports, presentations are equally important to the collaboration needed to get things done. This is where Grammarly helps. You got to get Grammarly right now. It's pretty much it's your AI writing partner to help you communicate more effectively and efficiently so you can make a bigger impact. So look, I use it whenever time I need to write an article about your silver and black for Ken's 5. I go to it, I check everything's tip-top shape, and gives me suggestions I can do to improve my writing for you guys as y'all soak up everything, all things silver and black. Look, it's made me more confident, and it's you made me learn new things about how to structure my articles moving forward. So yeah, Grammarly has been a big help for me. 95% of Grammarly users report Grammarly helps them draft and craft more impactful writing. Grammarly works across 500,000 apps, and it understands your writing and context, provides relevant, personalized suggestions, tone suggestions. I mean, they got it all. They can even help you through some difficult work conversations. Grammarly is a gold standard of responsible AI with 14 years of experience in just about every IT certification under the sun. Grammarly is a secure AI writing partner that helps your team make the point better, makes you help you make the point better and move faster. Make a bigger impact at Grammarly. Sign up and download for free at grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast. Easier said, done. I also want to talk about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Hey, San Antonio, go there right now. Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's in the 281 to 1604 area. They have it all. Need a latte? Check. Need a cold brew? Check. Need a Mudslinger, their signature coffee drink? Check. What about dairy alternatives? They got that as too. Mini donuts. They even have non-caffeinated drinks if you don't want to if you just want to take it easy, like the OG. I recommend that one. The Red Bull infused lightning bolt series, that'll get your day going. I recommend putting strawberry flavor in it. Again, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Find them on social media at Mudslinger SATX, Threads, Facebook, TikTok. I mean, the list goes on and on. Again, at Mudslinger SATX. That is their handle. Look, friendly staff, a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs. They proudly serve the San Antonio community. That's why you should go there right now. Let me tell you, that menu, you're going to get sucked into it. There are so many options for you to choose from. Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee, open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You're in San Antonio, take a drive out to 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Why? Because life is too short for bland coffee. He is Brandon James. He is with the Spurs. He's the VP of Strategic Growth / Deputy Counsel / the only man who actually took out Iron Man in a fight. Is that true, Brandon? I heard that. Is that true?
Rumor has it.
You told Iron Man, leave your armor on. Yeah, go. I'll give you a handicap. We're talking all things about Spurs Week. This coming up soon. March 10th begins out in Austin. There is a slew of things that is going to be occurring out in the state's capital. Obviously, the big games, Nets, Denver, out at the Moody Center. We'll get into all that. But we're talking right now about the regional impact that the Spurs are making. And Brandon, we'll shift to what's coming up soon. You mentioned Mexico, and I find that fascinating because, I used to live in New York, and I would feel, the Raptor presence, because Toronto and New York State were, the Canada border was very close. I would see more often than not, I was like, oh, that's funny. A lot of Raptor jerseys walking around Manhattan. Now, but Mexico is interesting because of San Antonio's high population of Mexican residents. First of all, let me tell you, I think that's awesome, that the Spurs are reaching out to Mexico now, trying to be the country's, NBA team. How has that been, trying to cross into international borders and becoming Mexico's NBA team?
Yeah, no, it's been a focus of us for a while now. It's also a focus of the NBA. They have a G League team that plays out of Mexico
That's right.
City. The
Capitanes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so working with the NBA to make sure that when we do go to Mexico, we're maximizing those opportunities. As you mentioned, we have a very Hispanic population in San Antonio. And if you look at the demographics of our country, that's the way we're moving, multicultural demographic. And so we really see ourselves as sort of the tip of the spear in terms of where the country is going. And so the more we can figure out ways to relate to different cultures and make sure that we're embracing the people that support us, the better we'll be as an organization. And we're really excited to do that, honored to do that, frankly.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Spurs fans tell me they do appreciate it, even the little things such as in games. When they play Tejano music playing out in the Frost Center, that's a big thumbs up. The serape on the jersey, the alt jerseys is much appreciated too. But we're talking about the big event, and that is coming up very soon. March 10th, everybody, again, spurs.com/Spurs Week for the list of everything that you need to know. Brandon, this one feels bigger. Let me tell you, when I was getting ready to bring you on, I'm writing down some notes, and I'm saying, I can't. There's just so much going on. I think for me, the big eye-popping thing is the South by Southwest thing that finally is going to happen. I think last year the rain kind of prevented that. Is that correct? Is that something that
We were supposed to have a fan fest, and then they got rained out, which we are still doing a fan fest before our game on Sunday. And so people should try to come to that. It's going to be right outside the Moody Center. And before you get to the game, you can experience a bunch of live vendors, our Coyote, a DJ, etc.
Yeah.
We're also in conjunction with South by doing a big community concert. And that's on Thursday, the 14th. And so South by yearly puts on this big concert, and it's really one of the few events at South by where you don't need to have a wristband. And so it's really an invitation to the community to come and be a part of not only South by, but the Spurs putting our sort of authentic touch on that concert. And we're super excited to not only sort of entertain our fans and prospective fans, but also give back. We're hoping to raise a bunch of money for our impact initiatives in and around Austin. And so it's a good way to sort of feel good about all the things that we have going on here in Austin.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, everybody, 15 fan engagement events that you could take part on out in Austin when Spurs Weeks begins on March 10th. I mean, from the concerts that you're mentioning, the giveaways, player appearances, the list goes on and on, and I think it begins with the Lady Bird Lake event that you mentioned March 14th at the South by Southwest. So there's that free swag. We got to know, what is this free swag here that the franchise is going to be handing out?
Yeah, we like to do what's called surprise and delight. And so we have some of our players that are going to be in and around town passing out free swag. I think I don't want to spoil too much, but if you're in Austin that week and have on some Spurs gear, there's a good chance you'll be spotted and be given away some free swag. And then at our events, we're having a few watch parties, particularly on the Monday and Tuesday of that week. And so we'll definitely be handing out a lot of merch. And the more we can get people wearing merch around Austin, the better. And so come get your free stuff at all the events we have going on that week.
All right, Brandon, I got to know, what is the Spurs Cup? That's on March 14th. That's a Wednesday, everybody. Fans competition? What is all that about?
Yeah, so it's just another way to engage our fans, right? And so we don't have a game that day. And so we were thinking, what's a good way to really make something gamey and competitive and really bring the community of our fans together. And so similar to, we got the name off of Flip Cup, but it's not all alcohol related. There's going to be a bunch of different games. You can win prizes. We're going to be a DJ there. And so we really put a lot of effort for people to just come out, have a good time, and fellowship with fellow Spurs fans, and probably win a few amazing prizes that we have to give away.
Absolutely. I one time pitched to the Austin Spurs staff, Lauren, we brought in Coach Will Voigt, the new one. I said, you know what? I love that Austin Spurs, they have like wacky theme nights. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of years ago, it was like car freshener night. I said, you know what? That's I would actually go to something like that. Like, okay. So I said, hey, Lauren, what about this? What about Will Voigt night? Like, just his cutout of his face everywhere. And we're there, and she goes, that actually might work. She's like, that actually might work. So, and I bring this up because fans can actually go to an Austin Spurs game during Spurs Week. That will be on Saturday, March 16th. Austin would take on Capital City Go-Go at the Moody Center. So there you go, Spurs fans. If you want to take part in the wackiness that makes Austin weird, then you could definitely go and check out that Austin Spurs game. Unfortunately, Brandon, my idea of the Will Voigt night did not go through, but it was close. I
will say this, and I've always maintained this, that in terms of best bang for your buck, there's no better value than a G League ticket. You're getting to see NBA players. I think the last stat I saw was a third of the NBA had spent time in the G League. So you're getting to see real NBA players play up close and for a really reasonable price. And so I'll urge anyone, if you want bang for your buck and maximizing your dollar, check out a G League game. And the fact that it's going to be in Moody Center is a really special experience for our community.
Yeah, maybe I should go now suggest to the Austin Spurs staff, how about Brandon James night for that game? Just like a cutout of you, just like this, and everyone waving it out, like, here he comes in. Here he is.
Get enough Sean Elliott look alike, so you may start confusing people after a while.
They're coming up to you. So when you hit the Memorial Day miracle, you're like, yes.
Exactly.
All right, but hey, obviously, the big events, are the pair of Spurs games. You got Denver coming into Austin. You got Brooklyn coming into Austin. Denver will be at the Moody Center on the 15th. Nets will be there on the 17th. But I like this, and I don't think it's getting a lot of attention, Brennan. So let's drive it into Spurs fans right now. The limited time Me+3 ticket offer. What is that about?
Yeah, so we want to make sure that when you're coming to our games, you're bringing friends, and so we have a really cool and unique ticket package option that allows you to get sort of a bulk amount of tickets for a very reasonable price. And so grab some friends and make an event of it, because these are games you don't want to miss. They're more than likely going to sell out, and it's something that you're going to want to be a part of. And so the more friends you can bring along, we've sort of made some pricing and some packages conducive to you bringing some friends along.
Absolutely. And again, everybody, if you want to check out the entire calendar of events, you want to go to spurs.com/Spurs Week, or get yourself some daily updates on your cell. Text Spurs Week to 210-444-5050. They can just text. The instructions seem like they make it seem like all capital letters. They just got to text Spurs Week, right? That's it. Get to go. And you get that. So from the first ever Spurs Cup to watch parties to free swag to an Austin Spurs game, it is packed out in Austin beginning on March 10th through the 17th. Spurs, they're taking over Austin, but it's not just about Austin as much as, I understand they're Austin games, but the whole aim of why this is going on is to celebrate the Spurs as a regional team. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. No, you nailed it. We want to make sure, again, we capitalize on our unique position in this market and make sure we meet our fans where they are. We're excited for fans in Austin to call a home game at Moody Center for a few days. And we're just really looking forward to the experience again. We did it last year, and we're hoping to do it even bigger and better this year.
You're right. He is Sean Elliott. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not Sean Elliott. That's messing with you. See, now you got it in my head now. Now it's in my head. No, I'm just messing with you.
He's a good friend he's a good friend. So no harm there.
Hey, absolutely. He is Brendan James. Make sure to follow the Spurs on X at Spurs. I'm pretty sure the social media team, Brendan, will be updating as often as possible about Spurs Week beginning on March 10th. Again, go to Austin. It's coming up soon, March 10th. Brandon, we gave them a fair warning, right? We gave them a big heads up.
They got plenty of lead time, and there's a ton of stuff going on with South by. The Spurs will be there all week, and so it's a really cool time to be a part of this market, and you want to make sure you're taking advantage of all the stuff we got going on.
Again, spurs.com/Spurs Week. Brendan, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're getting ready for the big week that's coming up. As always, we appreciate you, and open door. Next year, we'll do it again. We'll chat all things Spurs Week. All right, he is Brendan James. I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.